Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another in our virtual Biz Zone series. My name is Sansia Campbell, and I'm your host for this morning. Just want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. I know that there are still a number of persons without electricity and some without connectivity due to the hurricane that went last week. We also want to extend our wishes to persons who may have been affected by the hurricane, just to say we hope that everything will come together shortly so that you can get back to the business of business. And we hope that you weren't too badly affected. Um, Remember that there are resources being provided by the government. So keep your ears to the ground so that if you are affected, there are resources that you can reach out to and for to help you get back on your feet. As usual, the session this morning will be recorded. So for persons who miss it, they will be able to access it on our YouTube channel, JBDC Jamaica. So if you know somebody that wanted to be here but cannot be here for one reason or another, just let them know that the session is recorded and it will be available by about Friday of this week or thereabout. Also, tell them once they have searched for this today's recording to hit the subscribe button so that they'll be able to be notified when new sessions are uploaded for their information purposes. Now, as you know, this session should have gone last week, but because I said we all know the hurricane came, and so we had to push it to this week. So thanks again to the persons who have turned out this morning. Now we are completing our online selling series, and this morning we're going to be focusing on Open 24/7, developing the online selling strategy. And we have a very special lady with us this morning. Her name is Monique McIntosh, and she is a marketing specialist with Sky Blue Transaction Solutions. And I'm going to just tell you a little bit about Monique. She's a digital marketing specialist and a digital marketing educator who has worked with local and international brands across multiple industries to leverage the power of digital to achieve their organizational goals. Passionate about helping brands achieving their communication objectives, Monique has worked with L'Oreal Paris, Red Stripe Corporate, Camilla McDonald's, Camilla's Kitchen, Shelley and Fraser Price's Lady Shelley Beauty, Regency Bar and Lounge, among other brands. Now, she has spent hundreds of hours training emerging and existing digital marketers and entrepreneurs in a variety of digital marketing fields. She has developed and facilitated courses and workshops for the Branson Center, Scotia Bank Vision Achiever Program, Heart Trust NSTA, the Catapult Caribbean Arts Grant, the Morris Entrepreneurship Center at NCU, Kingston Creative, and more. And I'm sure she's going to add the fact that she has presented on the JBDC Virtual Biz Zone as part of her list of educational accomplishments. This is a knowledge sharing session. So the information that we're going to be sharing with you this morning, we are just bringing to your mind the things that are available so that you can get your online business, online selling strategy going. Remember, the session, as I said, is being recorded. You can feel free to drop your question in the chat, or you can simply raise your hand and Monique will be more than happy to take your question. So without further ado, it's over to you, Monique.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome. And absolutely, I will be including JBDC. And in fact, I want to mention that I personally have used many resources from JBDC and really laud and applaud all of the efforts that you guys do. I've done, so back in the day, there was a coconut jewelry making course that I would have been a participant of, and I would have also benefited from your business development services as well. So really want to applaud all of the work that JBDC has done over the years to support MSMEs, especially, and help us to build capacity. So that's our introductions and background. Before we jump into this morning's session, I want to establish some information. As was shared before, I want each and every one of you to feel empowered, to feel really able to ask any questions that you may have, whether it is throughout the session or when I pause and really ask for feedback. I love an engaging session, and since, as was mentioned, this is about information exchange, and so the purpose of it is for you to leave with something. You may, even though you may not be versed in the specific topic, each of you bring your own insights from your various businesses, from your experiences and what has worked for you or not worked for you. And we would love for that information to be shared across the room so that everyone can benefit, right? So that's point number one. Point number two, I'm stuffy. I'm a little under the weather, as you may hear through my voice. So if at any point in time I may have to sip some water or anything, please forgive me. But we're here to explore and we're here to learn. Okay, so with those two things established, I'm going to jump right into the session. As we're looking at today, we're talking about open 24/7 and developing your online selling strategy. Now, I work for an organization, Skyblue Transaction Solutions Limited, which offers two primary solutions. And today we're really talking a lot of the work that we're going to be talking about today aligns with easy payments and e-commerce platform, right? But as we deal with elements of your online selling strategy, there are many things that we have to consider as we talk about as an organization or a small business getting online. And the first questions that we start asking ourselves is, why is this even important? Why should we, or why do we have to sell online? And why is this something that would be interesting or appealing to me? So as we consider selling online, we think about convenience. Now, it may not be more convenient for us as a business owners and operators, but as we are delivering a product or service to our customers, the convenience is really to provide that option to our customers. We're talking about selling without borders, especially if it is that you have a service or a product that is easily distributed. Then selling online provides you with absolutely increased access to markets. Even as we talk about increased access to markets, what this means in real terms, if you are a business, say for instance, you are a destination wedding venue. So your product or your service is rooted in one location, right? However, the person who may be getting married at your venue, they may be coming from Texas, or they may be coming from Kingston while you're located in Negril or Montego Bay. And so it is very important that as we grow and as we develop our business, as we grow, that we understand or we provide our customers with convenient ways to pay. Even though what you provide may be rooted in a single location, that doesn't mean that it will always be convenient for your customer to come to your location in order to swipe a card, if you understand. And Another thing is when when you're speaking to persons, particularly outside of Jamaica, um, there are certain the comfort or flexibility of being able to do a bank transfer, which is relatively simple for the sender, that is. It does not translate the same if it is that you're talking to someone overseas. Local Black bank transfers also add an additional reconciliation element for you, the business. So there are some pros and cons and some additional things that if we follow some of the more traditional or the I want to say older slash existing forms that we are more used to transacting the flow of funds, it actually ends up costing you more because you have to spend additional time, energy, effort, and resources in reconciling okay, X person said that they sent me this amount of money on this date. Let me check back the bank statement. When you look at the bank statement, the name doesn't correspond, or you just got a code or a number. I've been there personally. And so unless you stay on top of everything, and review your details religiously, which, let's be honest, many of us don't. Not in the moment. You try to reconcile after, maybe a week after, maybe a month after. And if you have high volumes, you can forget about it. It's a pain. Worse if you're trying to reconcile this information in February for March, you know it's a pain, right? So we're really looking at ways, even though just that point of selling without borders and increasing convenience, it is so much more, it's so much more encompassing than that. But something else that we want to consider when it is that we're looking at why would we even, care about selling online? As you look at customer behavior and how persons have been engaging and interacting with brands, this has changed so much over the past 5, 10 years. And these changes have not just been happening internationally, so North America, etc. No, these changes have happened within the local space. People are buying things on TikTok shop, right? People are shopping on Amazon, and we can look at all of the freight forwarding companies that now exist that did not exist 5 to 10 years ago. So as we look at all of those complexities, all of those factors, you have to understand that our customer behavior in turn has also changed. People are more used to, Jamaicans are used to buying things, slash, if they see something, they like it and they want it, being able to at least purchase it immediately. You would have heard a little bit about my background within marketing. And as we consider customer behavior and changing consumer trends, you'll understand that your goal as a business is to reduce the number of barriers between your customer and actually making a purchase. So if you can simplify the process, if you can simplify what that process looks like for your customer, that only speaks or extends well for you as a business. So impulsive buying has had a greater influence and is a larger part of how persons interact with brands nowadays. Another reason or benefit to selling online is also the ability to capture information. Traditionally, we would have had something like a point of sale system that would have captured certain elements of our customers' behavior. But implementing systems or even selling online allows you to integrate information with things like a CRM and or sometimes even the platforms that you would sell online from or with will provide certain information on your customer, right? And so you'll be able to access more information and be able to track certain details about your customer over time. We spoke briefly about wanting to ensure that there is as few barriers to being able to conduct a sale as possible. The less obstacles that are there for the sale to happen is the more likely you would increase your conversions. Digital sales also make it easy for you to keep a digital footprint, making your reconciliation process much easier. And another point being, we're also offering customers diverse shopping experiences / payment options. Now, what this means as well is the fact that, of course, we still have some of our more traditional ways of purchasing. Persons can still come in person or in store, but for those circumstances where persons may, like I mentioned earlier, be on another side of the island or be overseas, or we're trying to fit into different use cases so that you can expand your customer base, you can access more markets and really help to accelerate / grow your business. So before I move on to the next point, is there anything else that you can think of as to a reason why you may want to sell online, or for those of you who are already selling online, what are some other benefits that you have seen? Anything else that you can think of to add to this section? Feel free to drop it in the chat. Feel free to raise your hand and we'll go from there. Okay, seems like you're comfortable so far. So we can move on. So we're going to see one. Okay. Kenil said, we sell where our customers are and children are becoming adults and being adults there. So they also have that expectation. Your audiences are more and more comfortable with the technology, whereas some of the older persons, may or may not be using things like even online banking, etc. The younger generation, we have Visa debit cards as standard. And so some of the limitations of the fact that, for example, persons may not have access to a credit card is not as onerous, or is not as bad as it used to be, or prohibitive to doing something like selling online or persons buying online, because even your debit card allows you access to that. Okay, so moving to why create a sales strategy. All right, Mikhail, I'll share my contact information at the end. We may have to troubleshoot something that may or may not be working for you. We'd have to have a conversation about what is not all transactions. Is it transactions of a particular size? Is it currency? Is it a particular place? So we'll discuss that off air. All right. And if there are any specific error messages that you can share with me, we'll be able to discuss, work through that. Okay. So why create a sales strategy? So it's important for you to create a sales strategy because sales don't drop from the sky. And I wish they did, but they don't, right? And beyond your overarching or overall sales strategy, online selling also has certain nuances or certain nuances to it that or adjustments that you as an organization may have to implement in order to be as successful, set yourself up for success, right? You are also facing increased competition. Whether you're seeing it reflected on the books yet or not, understand that your customers have more choices. And some of those benefits, the fact that everybody has a Visa debit card, means everybody has access to not just shop from you. You're not forced anymore to the confines of buying clothes from Halfway Tree, for example, or whatever town center or square that is closest to you. People are buying around Amazon. It's not just limited to those who can't travel anymore, right? And so increased competition means that you as well have to implement and see how it is that you can improve and optimize your sales. And you also want to consider the optimal use of both digital tools and technologies to ensure that you are using the most up-to-date information, that you're providing your customers with convenient ways to shop that also suit your organizational goals and go back to what it is that you are trying to accomplish, right? So it's very important to craft a sales strategy that works in tandem with your business, right? And if you're not selling online, then chances are within your industry, within your category, you may already be behind. And it sounds a little alarmist, but is it really? As we look at the brands that are making certain tides and shifts and moves within our spaces, as we look at who is really stirring the pot and making their mark, not just locally, but internationally, how are they able to do that? And I took just a few screenshots of some local brands that are doing just that. We look at Brochet, who creates these beautiful leather pieces, leather bags that have made their mark within corporate offices in Jamaica, but also internationally. And you can go on their website and purchase from Brescia.com. We have a skincare brand, Skin Fairy, that offers Ordinary brand, all sorts of skincare products, who use the power of their website and online shopping to allow customers to order from wherever they are, will place their order, and then they're able to get their packages delivered to them. We look at a brand like Mr. Breakfast, who stepped into the scene. Literally, they started out. We're looking at any story, any growth story, Brochet and Mr. Breakfast are prime examples of how an entrepreneur can look at the needs of their consumer. Sorry about that. Right? Brands that have looked at the needs of their consumer and then organized or presented a particular approach to present to them so that persons can access their products and services. They've reimagined food service, and by virtue of that, they're called Mr. Breakfast. They offer things like eggs, pancakes, American style breakfast. Think of it like a Jamaican IHOP or Denny's, right? And in addition to offering something that they felt that customers were demanding, they also found a way to present that online. And especially in light of both the pandemic as well as their target audience, the persons more likely to be having pancake and egg for breakfast or want a strawberry cheesecake, waffle. They have not only tapped into their market, but also done that in a way that is benefiting their business. Rhea Imani Swim is a swimwear brand hailing out of Negril that does high quality pieces, expensive resort wear, right? And their brand thrives because persons can order their pieces from online. Last but by no means least, I've also included Quick Cart. And I specifically pulled for one of these examples because there is a whole world, there is a whole category of businesses that in many cases, I believe that as Jamaicans and Jamaican entrepreneurs is still largely untapped. And we're talking about the world of digital entrepreneurship. I've actually taught a course on digital entrepreneurship for NCU, right? And I thought it was apt to mention this, especially to a group of entrepreneurs, because to an extent, Alexandra, this includes apps, but we're not just talking about applications per se. Digital entrepreneurship is really about leveraging technology to build, manage, and grow your business. So, for example, let's look at an example that locally grew and sort of emerged. Yes, we have Quick Cart and Seven Crave and Uber is here, but what of the innovative persons who packaged farm boxes and allowed persons to, you can use WhatsApp to select from their catalog that you want 2 pound of yam and 3 dozen ackee and 2 pound of pineapple, and that was curated, and somebody comes and delivers it to you every Wednesday, and you either pay them cash on delivery or you send the money or whatever. That's an example of digital entrepreneurship. the person who is delivering the yam and banana and pack it to you, they don't have to be a farmer. They don't have to know how to plant anything at all, right? Instead, their business is the business of delivering farm produce to you. That is the shift or some of the tweaks that that have been made possible through the emergence of the internet and through the actual use of these platforms that are available to us. So yes, an app is or leveraging or the full use of an app within your business is one such example or one such way that you can leverage or use this term digital entrepreneurship. But it's really about questioning the ways in which we deliver our products or services to our customers, because we are used to a very standard and very traditional approach. But as entrepreneurs, it is important for us to take two steps back and sometimes reimagine how it is that we can provide these services to our customers. So just that we cover this slide, 7 Crave and Quick Cart are both local food delivery options that are available. Again, neither of these people cook any food. They don't own a rice grain. They don't own a restaurant, but they deliver your favorite food to you. And of course, in the expansion of their business, that has now grown from simply food delivery into you can order from a pharmacy and those items be delivered to you. We have Airbnb, which again, Airbnb itself doesn't own real estate. They don't own real estate, but they are the digital platform that brings together the people who have properties where you can stay and the people who want to stay in properties. So their business has been about bringing people together. That type of digital entrepreneurship is called matchmaking. So you're bringing these two different entities together. And Uber does a similar thing. Uber doesn't own cars, yet they are pulling together those who have vehicles and those who need a ride, right? And so I'm encouraging us, even as we are delving into the world of your sales strategy, and being able to provide our customers with access to our business or to our products and services 24/7. I want to push the envelope up a little bit and push us to reimagine how we do business, because sometimes the very structure or the very approach that we may be taking may be limiting our income generating capacity or ability. I see a couple notes in the chat. So Mikhail says, exactly, that's what my company does. Mikhail, would you feel free to just tell us a little bit about your company, like a short synopsis? Explain to us how you've pulled those two elements together, so just so that we can all have an idea. Does Mikhail have the ability to speak? Or is it possible to enable that?
We will unmute him if he raises his hand. Just raise your hand, Mikhail, and we'll unmute you.
Okay,
Okay.
Mikhail. Yes, you've been on. Go ahead.
All right. So good morning again. So the name is Mikhail Beavas, right? And the name of my company is Quickful. That's KWIKFUL. right? So what we do, we fulfill products and services on demand we partner with fast food restaurants and local supermarkets and pharmacies, right? So we onboard those merchants, and we onboard them on our platform, and we bring everyone together. So what we really sell is basically time and convenience. Our target audience is for people who, them want time and them value convenience just the same, right? So if they want KFC, anything from any restaurants, right, or if they want any pharmaceutical product that's sell over the counter, I will also integrate a portal on our platform where you can actually submit your prescription, and the pharmacist then vet it, and you can submit your prescription and get it delivered to you. So basically, you do everything from your phone, right? So that's how we bring all the aspects together, right? So people can, get their own. It's convenience to them, right? So it's similar to how Seven Crave works, right? And Quick Cart, and it basically we put Amazon and Uber Eats together, right? We basically simulate the whole process. So it's like a Amazon and Uber Eats all packed in one. Hold on, I can hardly hear you.
Yes, I realized I was muted. Sorry. So I had a
Mhm.
question from the chat. Do you have a specific service area or do you deliver island wide?
Well, so we currently is just in Linstead only. So we just do Linstead and all the in and around the surrounding communities from Linstead, right? But we're planning to expand to Portmore and St. Anne, but we just kind of, you know,
Phase by
start out the funding. Oh yeah, we start out the funding for that just the same. So. I think we were trying to get in contact with the JBDC about the loan grants and that sort of stuff, but I heard that they kind of they cut it out and that sort of stuff. So we're kind of seeking funding to expand because the demand is there, and how our platform operates, it operates totally different from the norm, right? So we have a very large customer retention, right? And yeah, so you find some people from Portmore have been reaching out to us every single day, like a lot of people, and from St. Anne as well, because they heard about us, and them have been saying they're waiting for us to expand to those regions. But we want to expand and expand properly and not prematurely. So we're just looking for the proper funding to do that just now.
Okay, so I
Mm.
know that the contact information is being dropped into the chat. So
Um,
go ahead.
Monique, just before you
Yes.
go ahead, for Mikhail, I am going to put our contact information in the chat for you so that you can reach out to a business development officer when we are through here. But just to clarify for you that JBDC does not provide loans nor grants. It is the Development Bank of Jamaica that does so, but we prepare the entrepreneur to access these loans and grants. So it would be useful for you to reach out to a business development officer after this session is completed.
Ye- Okay, wonderful. Because what we went ahead and did ahead of time is we made sure that all the company relevant documents are up to par, and all the necessary things that we would need to have would already have it, including the TCC and all of that stuff, right? And the NIS and the NHT and all that other stuff. We make
Yeah.
sure so we have everything prepared. So for instance, we get an opportunity to get funding and that sort of stuff, right? We wouldn't have any setbacks. So we went ahead and make sure so we have all of that sorted out.
Yes, so what the business development person would assist you with is, like was mentioned, to prepare you for their process. Because remember
Mm.
that there may be specific things that you may have to present or do certain canvases or otherwise. And JBDC is a great resource to help you to get through those various milestones. So as was shared, take the information, reach out to a BDO, and they'll be able to kind of hold your hand through that process. It's good that you would have set up your formal infrastructure and you have certain things like your TCC intact, and I applaud you for that. They're going to help you to move to the next level, like you mentioned, the expansion, etc. All right. All right. Thank you so much for that, Michael. All right. So we have in the room live examples of persons already taking advantage of digital entrepreneurship. As I mentioned, this is not going to be everybody's path or everybody's way, but I thought it important because so many times as we are establishing our businesses or we are positioning our brands, we are thinking of business operations as how they have always traditionally worked. And because of literally the internet, because of social media platforms and the proliferation of those platforms across countries, because of apps, and now because of AI, so many things have changed about how it is that we interact and engage with brands, that we don't have to set up a physical shop to sell people things. And in so many cases and so many ways, it may be cheaper to not set up a physical shop. Beyond not setting up a physical shop, you may not have to rear the chicken or or slaughter the cow, or you may not have to be so integrally involved with the process in order to sell that particular item. And so I've shared a term. This is simply one option, and so I encourage each of you, if you're looking for just additional ways to expand and grow, enrich your businesses, that this may be a term that you may research and delve a little further into to see what are these competitive advantages. Remember, we're talking about strategy. We're talking about things to help to enhance and build your business, not just for today, but for 5 years from now. So you may be doing okay today, but will that same process be helping you next year or the year after? How are you standing out from the crowd? These are all questions that as entrepreneurs, you have to ask yourself, because we've seen it time and time again. Look at how big Kodak was. Look at how big Blockbuster was. And look at Netflix. Look at how digital cameras at first, and now literally everybody's mobile phone has completely transformed what was a billion-dollar industry or billion-dollar industries. So especially as we look at ourselves, recognizing that we are micro and small businesses within a small economy, we have to think strategically to best position ourselves for success, right? So going back to the meat of the matter around creating and crafting your sales strategy. So one of the first things that we want to understand is what sort of space are we operating in? Looking at the importance of selecting a niche. Now, what your niche is looking at that specific slice of the market that you are going to target and tackle as your business, right? And the example that we're using here is Brescia. I spoke briefly about the fact that this is a brand that offers leather bags, right? Now, they have specialized in this one category. They've specialized in this one category, and so they're not making every type of bag, and their bags are not for everybody either, right? They have a specific niche that they're looking at, and in look scoping here, what does this look like? Just from these three pictures or from what you know of their brand, what does that look like for you? Anybody want to drop in the chat? What, just from looking at these few photos, what does Brescia's brand and the types of bags that they do, what you know of their brand? What would you, how would you describe their niche or their slice of the market? So Sandra says it's luxury or high quality brand, absolutely. Who are they talking to? What kind of person are they looking at? Deramore says business class. Cultural luxury brand. Okay, yes. Because as we look at Brescia is a Patois word meaning breadfruit. And so it has a local connotation or alignment. It's authentically Jamaican. However, the quality speaking to its durability. Dwayne says it seems aligned to professionals. Alexandra says multiple pockets and specific color scheme. So those elements are speaking to or further concretizing what we're talking about quality and who it is that they're talking to. Because you're a business person, you have your water bottle, you want a place for your water bottle. You may be carrying a laptop, so there's a laptop sleeve inside or a little section for your laptop inside your bag. Why am I mentioning all of this? As you identify these areas of your audience, as you understand your audience more, you may have to make changes, tweaks, or specifications to your actual product. That's something that may be possible. That's one element of it. But beyond that is looking at how it is that you actually appeal to a specific audience, right? Even as we look at your niche, we're coming back around to as well, reimagine standards and processes. If you hate it, chances are others do too, right? So why do I mention that? Each of these bags, say for and except this small one here, which is like a toiletries bag. The average price of these bags is like $23,000, $25,000, $30,000, right? And so as we look at the traditional market for a bag in Jamaica, we may have more been looking at $3,000 or $5,000. Are those bags of the same quality? Are they using the same materials? No, they wouldn't be. However, they chose a specific niche, a particular category of both persons, as well as So the target audience aligned with their actual product that they're delivering to their consumer. And they made the specifications and they did the research and they upgraded their product to fit that particular target audience. That sort of synergy is absolutely critical and absolutely important. It's not just about sales at the end and the salesperson being able to talk to people and being able to sell an ice to an Eskimo. Well, yes, that's important, and that will help to move numbers. We really want to look at sustainability and meeting demand, building products that meet the demands of our customers. And so that sales process begins from product development. And a huge part of that is truly being able to identify your target market or markets, your audiences, right? Now, we've pulled photos, all different categories and groups of people. You have young children, you have athletes, you have the elderly, you have teenagers, you have corporate professional adults, you have men versus women, you have student athletes, you have college students, right? So there are an array. You may have an unemployed person. There are so many different categories of persons, right? That exist within a particular locale or space. How is it that identify, refine, or define your target markets? First and foremost, understand that the definition of your target market is an exclusionary process. By virtue of defining a target market, you're excluding some people. That's what that means. And why is that important? It's important to understand this because you don't have unlimited resources. Why can I speak so confidently that you don't have unlimited resources? Because Pepsi and Coca-Cola don't have unlimited resources. So if they don't have unlimited resources, you definitely don't. One moment.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have been taking notes. I wrote down a couple of things here so that we could just ensure that we're on the same page. So Monique shared that one of the things about online marketing in terms of a strategy convenience, it provides convenience to our audience, to the target audience that we're going after. And she said something that was also very striking for me. She talked about online selling being selling without orders, right? So it is that you are putting a product out there, open to everyone. They can buy at any single time, anytime they want to buy. So as we said in our theme that we're focusing on, open 24/7. If you are not online, you are behind the 8 ball in business. So you need to get online. It is cheaper to also not set up a physical shop. It is cheaper for you to buy other person's products and sell them. There are lots of entrepreneurs, even locally right now, when the window was opened, I believe in 2020 for Jamaicans Jamaicans using our Jamaican mailing address to sell online. It opened an opportunity for a number of entrepreneurs to be able to sell the simplest of things. There are persons that are making a killing off tambourine ball, right? Coffee, seasonings, Maggi seasonings that they purchase and they put it online in their Amazon shop and persons buy it. These are things that are making a killing online. She also gave some great examples in 7 Crave and Quick Cart. These are delivery companies. They don't have a restaurant, they don't sell food, they don't own a pharmacy or anything like that, but they are making money from delivering products. And this is something that came out of the COVID experience, as you'd imagine. And of course, our very good friend, Brescia, providing all of those exciting and outstanding products, leather products. These are all Jamaican made. This is a young guy as well, but he's been able to tap into a niche of persons that are not only thinking about, I noticed a number of persons said it was a luxury brand, but for me, it's not really luxury. For me, it's practicality, because the Brescia have quality and it lasts for a long time. I know this because I have bought Brescia bags before and they are still going on. I tell persons that the Brescia bag that I have, I bought it when Brescia just started, and it's the only bag that survived the pandemic, and I still have it today. Okay, Monique is back, so I am going to throw back to her and she will continue.
Okay, thank you so much. And I know each of you understand, especially with the disturbances that we've been having. So thank you so much for that. So just coming back around to target market, as I mentioned, it's deliberately exclusionary because we don't have unlimited resources. Resources extending to finances, extending to time and energy, in terms of staff. And so you have to have a particular core or group that it is that you're communicating with. And these are the persons who you believe are most likely to support your brand, whether it is that they are going to be advocates for your brand, whether it is that they are going to be purchasing your products and service, whether they are going to be pressuring the people who actually purchase. It's important to understand who these different persons are or groups are so that you can effectively communicate with them, right? And so it's important for you to identify who you're not serving or who you're not primarily serving. So in other words, this person may purchase from you. Somebody who is not in your target audience likely will buy from you. But you want to ask the question of who is most likely to purchase from you. What is that group or category of persons who are most likely to repeat buy from you, right? So in marketing, we consider, that's turning it on. We consider these elements like demographics. These are defined characteristics. So this is now the elements or that are involved within target defining your target market. So one is demographics, which are defined characteristics like age, sex, occupation, income level, right? So you would identify these items or these elements of the persons within your target audience. How old are they? Who are they? The specific defined characteristics that don't tend to change that often. That's what demographics looks at. Now, psychographics delves into a little deeper. Once you've defined who these people are, you want to understand what drives them. What are their interests? What are their values? What do their lifestyles look like? And so these questions start to peel back the layers of how someone thinks. Why is it that they would do certain actions? Why would they choose blue over orange? You know, why is it that persons do certain things? No, how does that truly translate, right? We're looking at these elements because it is in operating within our space, you may make the decision of not having a label that is green or orange. Why? Because it may have some sort of political affiliation. That sort of insight comes from understanding Jamaican culture, understanding how we have operated, understanding the polarity that might create within the provision of a particular product or service, right? And so it's important to understand customer behavior. So that now leads us to the actual behavior itself. What are the choices that persons are making? And so a particular group, they may be more inclined to play to play football, and another group may be more inclined to watch cricket, and another group of people may be inclined to do polo or horseback riding. Who are those groups, and when would you speak to those various groups, and how do you speak to them? All of these impact or affect your communication, your marketing, and also your sales strategy, how it is that you target these various groups for that conversion. And also now geography. Geography is where you will delve into where someone lives, works, or spends their time, right? So all of these elements impact and affect your definition of a target market. Now, this is an area that I find a lot of persons have difficulty with. And this is why I started out with the fact that you're gonna exclude people, maybe even people who currently buy from you, because of your definition of your defined target market, right? Because that particular definition means some people just don't fall into that grouping that you would have classified. So I want to pause again, if it is that you guys have any questions around defining your target market as a part of building your your sales strategy. Again, going to invite anybody to raise their hand so that we can have that conversation and so we can proceed. Anybody want to share their thoughts or had any feedback based on what would have been shared already so far? No questions on audience targeting? All right, I see Corinne has raised her hand.
Hello, Monique, everybody. So I wanted to weigh in on the target audience because that's something I'm working on. And sometimes who we think we are speaking to might not be the person we're speaking to. Because I recently updated my LinkedIn profile, targeting a specific audience. And I noticed I wasn't interacting with them. So I asked for some other my LinkedIn connections for some feedback. And when they reviewed my profile, they told me that it's not very clear who I'm targeting. So, okay, for instance, some of us, we have many skills, and I'm one of those. I'm blessed. And sometimes we try to do everything and in the process confuse persons.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that point, even before you go any further, because understand that as you are sharing information into the public domain, people are trying to figure out where to categorize you, where you are, who you are, and what you're talking about. Now, if Brescia offered everything from those quality, those leather bags, durable, high quality, so when you pay your money, this is something you're gonna have for years to come. So whether you were luxury, or you just understand the value of a quality bag, you'll save up your money to buy a Brescia, right? Suppose they also offered you flimsy, see-through, Shein quality products. Wouldn't that be confusing?
Yes, that would be confusing because sometimes then you wonder, what is their core business? Are they just trying to make a money? Or are they focused on quality and meeting their customers? So I think that's a challenge that many entrepreneurs face. We can do so many things, and just to restrict ourselves to one niche is a challenge because we think we're leaving all those opportunities out there. So I think that's, as you try and identify your target market, you need to be very deliberate in where you think is best for you to focus your energies.
Absolutely. And just to come back to it, to it's saving us money, time and energy, because you're not spending all of your time trying to attend every event to publicize to everybody where, okay, you spent $50,000 to participate in a particular expo between buying your tent and, paying the extra wages for one person or two people to accompany you and buying lunch, right? But and then the cost of the actual products and bringing everything there and everything. And then you sold 10 products at $2,000. Or, or spoke to 15 people who were actually interested in your particular product or service. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, your
Who am I
definition.
serving?
Right. And truly understanding and defining that target audience is going to help you to be able to make certain decisions. This is why it's a part, even though it may be a part of your marketing questions that you do, etc. It comes right back around to sales as well, because it helps you to craft and figure out these ideas of who is it and how is it that I am actually serving and meeting my audience?
And where do I find those persons?
And
Is it
where
in the
do
middle
I
of halfway
find
tree,
this?
or is it up in Beverly Hills, or is it down Coronation Market? Is it in Linstead, like our friend there who is definitely focusing on Linstead?
Right. Yeah. So beautiful, good suggestions. Anybody else have any other thoughts or comments to add? Okay. So we have underscored the importance of defining your target audience, right? So Alexandra is asking the question, how to find the best target markets online? And is Pinterest a good platform? So two separate questions, Alexandra. One is, okay, speaking to your target audience or your target market online is a separate activity from identifying your target audience. First, I want you to list it out, define it, write it down, literally have different groups of people to say, I am targeting Alexandra. This market of people will be between 35 and 40 years old. They earn this amount of money. They live in here. So you're answering the various questions. You're answering the demographic elements. You're answering the psychographics. Why is it that they would do A or B? They invest in a child school fund because they want their child to go to a particular school, etc., 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 etc. Behavior, why they do A over B, they would do, and define all of those details by each group. For Alexandra, for Another category who you may call Byron, another category you may call Eunice, based on who are the persons most likely or the groups most likely to purchase from you, right? So you want to identify those your target audiences, right? The naming of them is taking it a step further into really building by personas, where you will have a definition of what that a representative of that group looks like. So Simone is 30 years old, she has 2 kids, etc. You can build a persona around a specific individual to represent that group, right? Now, in accessing or meeting your target audience, once you've defined them, meeting them is easier because, again, in the physical space or realm, this can convert to, is it Beverly Hills or Coronation Market? Is it Mobe? Is it Kingston? And you can start answering those questions. In the online space, there are platforms that have made this so much easier than maybe even trying to go to a physical location, because using tools like Google Analytics, using tools like Facebook Business Manager, which is their advertising suite that controls Facebook and Instagram ads and even ads that lead you into WhatsApp, you can define things like, this person is between 35 and 40 years old. This person works in marketing. This person works in HR. This person loves pets and follow pages that revolve around pets and pet care. So there are certain, you can, through your advertising, through your targeting where that's concerned, you'll be able to access these very specific groups of persons. So yes, analytics, your when we spoke about the virtual or online tools providing you with some more data, this is important because even at the basics, your social media provides you with certain analytics and insights on your audiences. So you're able to tell that your the persons who follow you are overwhelmingly male or female. You're able to access information, real information, to say that most persons who engage with you are 25, or are they really 40, right? And this may or may not be information that you would have known, or Maki, that you may or may not have known prior, right? Right? So looking back through the questions. So, and then you asked about whether Pinterest was a good platform. Yes, Pinterest can be a good platform. One of the benefits of Pinterest is the fact that Pinterest is also a search engine. It's a social media platform, but it's also a search engine, right? And so what that assists with is being able to drive traffic to your website, for example. So if you use Pinterest, which a lot more Jamaicans use it than you might think, right? But we've traditionally been consumers of Pinterest, not particularly adding information on for others to access our site, which is where the benefit comes in. Unlike an Instagram where you engage with a particular post and you have to go to the link in bio and you're not sure which link it is, Pinterest, once you engage with a particular pin, somebody can click it, they'll go right onto your website, your blog, where you're now sharing how it is that they're supposed to build this project or construct this bag. Sometimes in sharing information with our audience, you're able to to show the process behind doing ARB, and that can help to incentivize persons to actually purchase. Now, how does that work? I remember watching a video of someone. He went into the rural area of Westmoreland and showed the traditional process of making castor oil. Drying the castor beans, then they boil the castor beans, then they hung it with a mortar and pestle, and the entire process from start to finish. And as I scrolled through the comments underneath this YouTube video, there were so many people who said, I will never complain about the cost of castor oil ever again. So often we are concerned about not revealing our tactics or how we do things, or protecting our behind the scenes processes, that our customer doesn't know how much work or inputs goes into the crafting or creation of your product. Now, again, this approach is not going to be for everybody. Of course, you have to keep your trade secrets or your competitive edges as to ways that you customize or tailor your process. But sometimes, just sometimes, our protectiveness of what we do and how we're doing it, sometimes it don't help us. Because we may also be shielding our customer from the effort, input, and work that goes into our creation and the love that goes into our creation, right? Going back to the comments, how can I find my target market for online new and used tool store? So I would have shared a few nuggets, but to directly answer this question now. So first and foremost, you are going to sit and define certain elements, because you know who comes into your new, used, and tool store. So at first, you can identify these various categories. Who are they? Who comes in? And you want to enhance or focus your energies and efforts on those persons who either would come most often, who would spend the most money. Those are most obvious. And you can list the others who come less often, but may spend more when they come. So you're gonna list those customers, those persons who already patronize you. And I want you to sit back and explore who you want to come but is not coming, right? And analyze from that. So you're writing again the same demographics, psychographics, behavior, geography for these various persons. And finding them various tools. There are social media ads that are relatively inexpensive. And unlike your traditional advertising platforms where you run an add-on RJR, everybody's gonna hear it. Whether it is the mom who is dropping her kids to school, or the construction worker, or the banker, or the man who owns a shop, everybody is hearing it. But when you tap into digital ads and social media ads, you have an opportunity to hyper target specific individuals. You can target people who work in construction, or masons, or people who follow particular pages. So there's a lot of power around digital ads for you to be able to hyper target specific individuals, right? Just in the interest of time, I'm going to move on because there's some more additional elements that we need to look at. Now we want to move into choosing your products. Now, some of you already have your products, right? Following what I would have said initially around refining and defining what this looks like for you, you may also be interested in expanding your product. So the first point under this category is looking at your niche or niches. You may want to focus on a specific product category or categories or cater to a unique audience. You may also research market trends, right? Looking at products with high demand and low competition. And again, we're looking at online spaces, we're looking at competing globally. So what are these things that not many people are offering, but people actually want, right? Looking at your resources. So you also want to choose products or services that align with what it is that you can produce, because you may have a good idea, but as a business, it may not you may not be able to break even. So you do want to analyze and consider that information even before you delve into the realm of production. You want to kind of calculate and work out some of the math behind it. And again, another plug for JBDC, because that's something that they'll be able to help you with. Right now, to help you to make this process a little easier, there's also some things you can do to research market demand. There are things like Google Trends, and that's the name of an actual product from Google that can help to share over time what is more popular than other things. There's also a service, Amazon Bestsellers, that highlights from an e-commerce perspective, what are some of the best sellers on Amazon. As you know, one of the biggest e-commerce platforms. So it can give you some indication of what has been performing well over time. And of course, you also want to check or consider your profit margins, right? So you want to compare costs versus potential benefits to ensure that this is something that is feasible for you to maintain over time, right? I'll simply, just share a little about this as well in terms of sourcing your product. So you want to consider, how is it that you're going to be able to access the products first, but also how are you going to deliver this product to your or service to your consumer? You want to research. The good thing about digital businesses is that you have the capacity and capability to start very small with limited funds and scale over time. And so, especially if it is that you are starting new, I would recommend starting small and scaling. Starting small looks like buying small batches, maybe of a particular assortment in terms of base colors that you think may be most popular. And then from that information, being able to determine what are the sizes, the colors, or the styles that your customers prefer. You don't want to have hundreds of stock on hand and realize that people only want the blue. So what happened to the purple, pink, orange, red, and the shocking neon that you bought? People only want the blue. Or people are only buying in sizes 8 to 10. So the 1,000 size 6 that you bought, it's not moving. People want 9 and 10, right? So it's easier for you to understand these trends, and a lot of it is only going to happen after you start. So one of the keys, start small and scale. And you also want to consider, again, supply and demand. What can't people access readily, right? And or answering the questions of how the products are accessible to them. KFC and Burger King was accessible to us before 7 Crave and Quick Cart. They were accessible, but how were they accessible? in their location over there. And so again, going back to the question of reimagining how it is that we may be doing and operating business, since there are technologies, there are that have enabled or changed the way it is that we can deliver to our customers, deliver our products or service to our customers, right? So someone has mentioned with Google Trends, you can make Google alerts and sign up with your Gmail to get a Google Trend per day or whenever you ask it when you register for Google Trends. Great tip. Thank you. Kenny is saying drop price to sell the other color or send to cultural clients, Asia, Africa. So that's if you already bought the 1,000 SKUs. Me, I try to not buy the 1,000 SKUs. Start small, buy a particular assortment, see what your customers are asking for, and then you're able to scale and grow into buying the 1,000 blue that people want in the sizes that are most popular, rather than having stock on hand that you may have to take a price cut for, or sell to a place that offers you have to spend a lot in delivery or shipping costs to get it to them. Now, I quickly want to venture into the elements of how to get paid, because we talked about sort of the benefits of the online selling, but we still have the question around transacting and how is it that these processes will really work. Now, Easy Payments is a payment solution. It's a local payment solution born and grown here in Jamaica, which allows businesses to accept payments made via Visa, MasterCard, or even KeyCard. Yes, there are still a few in circulation, cards. And this is whether it's a debit, credit card, or a prepaid card. Now, as a synopsis, once transactions are settled, so your customer, whether it is they access your website, whether they click a payment link or a payment button, whether they scan a QR code, once they have completed the transaction, you as a business get your money, of course, less our fees, to your bank account. So what this means is you can accept card payments in Jamaican or US dollars. You can get paid whether it is that you have a website or not, and it is easy to use. At the end of the day, you can generate simple and easy to use reports that also can integrate with most accounting software. You download a CSV file, upload it to your QuickBooks, for example. And so the whole process of reconciliation, for example, then becomes so much easier, even if it is that you have other platforms or tools that you're using simultaneously, right? So this information now allows you to get so much more granular. There are things like you would be able to track and see by specific item how many people are buying it. Also, who bought it? Literally, who bought it? And once it is that you are using these digital tools or this ability to now get paid in tandem with other digital infrastructure, things like a CRM, which will help you to reach back out to customers. I purchased from you or I signed up for information from you a month ago and I still haven't signed up. You can automate messages to go out to this customer. I have received or opened this email. A CRM as a tool will also help you now to trigger a set of automations to go to that particular person. I mention this because as you build your sales strategy, as you build your digital architecture, this is how these tools make life easier for you. You can set up systems, responses, automations which to break it down further, automatic messages or emails, in the form of email or maybe an SMS that gets sent out to that specific customer. Things that can be customized to them to say their name, to include specifics of what it is that they have done, right? So to expound a little more on the platform itself, easy payments can be represented as a payment plugin. So that's for businesses who have a website / a hosted payment page. So for persons who don't have a website, there is no problem. Your customer reaches or is able to complete their transaction via payment button. So this may be something that you embed into an email that you send out to your customers, payment links, which may be something that you WhatsApp or DM a particular customer. You can even make specific payment requests. So you know that a particular client has ordered 10 water bottles, 5 keychains, and 2 ring lights from you. You're able to customize that payment request and send it directly to them. So now this person has the ability to pay you online. Beyond that as well, there's certain features that we have introduced, things like recurring billing. So for those of you who have subscription products, it helps to make life easier for you. Now, it's not just for a traditional subscription. Say, for instance, you had membership fees or dues, or even want to call it donations. Those are all things that you can use with the platform. So how does it work? I would have mentioned a branded payment page or a hosted payment page. This is what that would look like. Your logo would be represented here and the name of your business, and your customer fill out certain information. So who is the payment coming from and their email address. This email address allows that customer to get an automatic receipt once the transaction is complete. And there is flexibility in terms of how this payment page can be set up. You can define a specific order amount, or if you have a website integration, once people add items to their cart, they will get a specified total at this point in time. And then they would be able to complete their card details and proceed to checkout. It's that simple. And they can access this information via whether it is a click a payment link or otherwise, right? Kenil asks the question, is easy like PayPal? Yes. Very simply, easy payments is similar to PayPal, but no, instead of you needing PayPal, then you need a Payoneer card if you can still get one to connect with your PayPal. Then each time that you need to access funds, you need to find a Scotia ATM that accepts US currency. You have some acrobatics to do, or wait for that PayPal check. And then when you get it, the bank tell you 20 days to clear your check, right? So it eliminates all of that process for you. And then, of course, your money will be available here, right? So, Mikhail, I think was it you that I think Kenil maybe would talk off air. We can speak a little further about what it is that you would want with regards to the white label page and the possibilities that are available there. Anita asked about a setup or registration or monthly fee. So we have 2 plans. One is a pro package, and then we have an introductory package. I will have an introductory package that allows persons to get started without a monthly fee. So we have a free plan that limits you to only 10 transactions for the month and allows you to use Jamaican dollar transactions only. With our pro plan, it's just under $3,000 per month, so $2,990, which is a monthly subscription fee for the use of the service that then now unlocks all of the other features to you. You'd be able to do subscription or collect subscription payments, see all of those payments and monitor your subscriptions. So in other words, if your customer canceled their subscription, you'll be able to see this information. If they called you and wanted it for you to cancel it, you also have that ability to do so, right? So accepting US dollars, etc. Right? So it opens up those functionalities for you. Is it possible for it to be hosted on the website checkout instead of redirecting the customer to a payment page? So what I can do, Mikhail, I can show you exactly how that works, because I think what would be useful is for us to actually have a demo conversation, and we'd be able to navigate and work through the very specifics to suit your needs, because I believe you had the delivery service, right? So we'll be able to see if there are any specifications or customizations that you may need, or how we could integrate with the other technology that you use currently. So we'll be able to guide you for those specifics, right? Suppose you're a solopreneur at the moment, can I still register, or do I have to be a business and collect subscriptions too? So Alexandra, you mentioned solopreneur, but the question would be in terms of registration, are you a registered business? So we encourage persons to be registered. There is one exception where we would allow, based on the constitution or information available around businesses, which is persons who do operate within their own name, which is perfectly legal, right? But once it is that you are using a business name, then that is something that you would have to register, right? So we have an allowance or way to support you, even if it is that you have not completed your process as yet, or you're just getting started. But of course, as you build and as you grow, that's something that we strongly encourage our businesses to do, especially since it is that you wouldn't want to commingle funds and all of that. But we are minded to the small business owner and operator, and are here to support you within your group, right? Okay, I want to continue here. So just to highlight certain specific features, so I spoke of the recurring billing. You're able to automatically charge for payments, whether that's a payment, whether it's a donation, and you can choose a frequency, whether this is quarterly, annually, monthly, etc. Multiple currency payments, Jamaican US dollars, and via Visa, MasterCard, key card. Of course, safety is important. And so we have, even just to be able to process Visa and MasterCard, there are rigorous security protocols that we would have had to go through. And you can rest assured that each transaction is processed via secure SSL encryption, and that complete card information is not stored by us. Of course, that information is encrypted. Fraud management, fraud detection and management features. We've also built in certain features within our transactions so that there is automatic review of same, but of course, we encourage all of our customers to stay vigilant, as we know how creative persons within this space can be. And so it is something that everyone has to play their part in, right? And so certain information like as you consider incorporating and or shifting digital processes into your operations, it's important that the same KYC information, as much as you can, or as much as is possible, that you collect this information. So at the end of the day, if you need to reach out to a customer, that you have that information, you have the ability to do so. And a question that I haven't seen as yet, but is very popular, is understanding how it is that you actually get paid. So once a transaction happens via our platform, we make settlements to our merchants twice weekly. Right now, that schedule is every Tuesday and Friday, right? So I do have a for persons who may be interested, you can take this opportunity to use your phone and scan this QR code on the screen for more information. What this will do is provide me with some of your details, basic information, your name, email address, contact information, name of your business, so that we can get in touch with you and further the conversation a little more. Let me go back to our questions. And yes, as we sort of round out this conversation around how you've identified your target market, you've looked at your products, you've figured out how it is that you're going to get paid. I also want to just encourage you to complete the strategy in considering how is it that you're going to drive traffic? How are you going to get people to see what it is that you're selling? Because again, online platforms still follow similar rules, but they may have different ways for you to carry out the rules. So you, just like if you were opening a store, you would choose to put it in a high traffic location, but online, people are here. How are you going to get them onto your website, right? So some tips include using clever, useful, or interesting content. You may also use affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing is where you may have identified specific persons who are advocates for your brand, who get a particular cut. So almost like they are your sales agents or act as a support for your sales team. There are strategies like search engine optimization, where you improve your website in a variety of ways, whether it is by adding a blog page where you talk about your business and your features so that persons can access, or who are searching for that information online, maybe not your brand, but that information will be able to find you. Using social media, using email marketing, specific partnerships, paid ads, influencers. There are many ways. And I would have embedded this video, not gonna play it, but you probably see it. You're like, 10 Amazon must have gadgets. We're talking about ways, as we look at interesting pieces of content or strategies to approach accessing your customer. These are some ways that we can tap into those specific groups. I also want to speak a bit about handling customer communication, because as you use these online or digital tools to sell, it's important that you maintain or you manage communication very well. So tips where this is concerned, you want to clearly display the dimensions of your product if it's a physical product, color options, sizing information, so that it is clear and easy for people to see. Despite doing so, people will ask. So just be prepared for that. But to reduce those queries coming to you, you want it clear. You want to make it easy for customers to communicate with customer service, whether this is via phone, WhatsApp, live chat, AI bots, social media, and I would recommend a combination of all of the above. All right. You may also want to have a frequent asked questions and or a help center, which is a hub where persons can access specific information around your product or service. And I spoke so many times about the power of a CRM because this can help you to support your communications, especially as smaller businesses who may not have the manpower. You can establish certain responses that should go out to customers and can help you to manage that entire process. As we complete your strategy, you also want to consider how it is that you are going to deliver your products or services online, which may include, it may be as simple as a digital download, or maybe handling shipping. And so you want to look at what these requirements look like. You want to choose a provider who can help you to access multiple countries, and you may also need to get a little creative with how it is that you approach sale. Again, looking at online sales, there are certain considerations to take into account. These include things like returns, refunds, and chargebacks. Now, you want to establish a clear refund and returns policy, something that your customers are privy to when they're, conducting a transaction. Empower your customer service team or professional persons with standing operating procedures for common issues or mistakes. For example, did you send the wrong size? Or did the customer order the wrong size? Or did they get the wrong color, right? So, or did the color look different from how it was on the website? So these are certain nuances that maybe if someone was coming in store, they would physically see, and they'd be able to make that adjustment immediately. But online it's a little different. So this is something that we have to consider and have as a part of a plan rather than be surprised when it occurs. Right? You also want to collect information on your customers because this helps you with future sales. But also if there are issues, if there needs to be, if the customer raises a chargeback, which is where they may go to their bank and dispute a charge, what information do you have to support your claim that no, this was correct, this is what they ordered, etc. Or how can you communicate with the client, clarify anything, right? And you also want to stay aware of suspicious activities. And because if client behavior seems unusual, if this is the first time they're buying from you, they're buying big and they want it now, then there may be something unusual. There may be. As I said, we can get very creative. And so you do want to stay vigilant as it is that you, as you process. I promise to share information. These contact details, info@easypayments.com, and this number, these are our customer service lines. I'm going to drop in the chat as well my email, so a direct way for you to reach out to me. And that's McIntosh@chooseskyblue.com. So just dropped it into the chat, so you'll be able to send me any notes or information. Wanted in the few minutes that we have remaining, if there were any questions or queries, any burning issues that anyone had, I'll scroll back through the chat to respond to direct questions. So Lisa was asking me about integrations with Shopify. Unfortunately, no, we don't have an integration with Shopify available just yet. We have established integrations with WordPress and with Equid. We have a Wix integration that is currently in beta testing. So if it is that anyone has their website on Wix and would like to be a part of that group or want to use it within integration, we would be accepting beta test persons for that group. Shopify is next on that list for development. Okay, Nadia, if you wanted, you can just shoot me a message, an email, and we'll be able to discuss further. Alexandra's asking Tuesday and Friday. I mentioned Tuesday and Friday as our reconciliation dates. These are the dates when we make payments out to our customers. So that's what that was referring to. But yes, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand and we will be able to, I'll be able to respond to you now. Any questions?
Money, there is another question that just popped up from Dwayne Harris. Is it that I would have my own website and then direct customers to select Easy Pay as an option for payment?
So that is one way that that we can be used. Yes. So if you have a website already, the solution is flexible. If it is that you have a website, integrations are possible via the platforms that I have mentioned. But because of the nature of the platform, especially if it is that you have very specific items or a low number of SKUs, you can even link to a particular product that persons can simply purchase that item from you. So for example, if you are a coach and you had a bundle that you were selling and somebody is buying that for $20,000 or $40,000, they can simply click a payment button. It may not even need an integration, is where I'm saying, for you to get started or start getting paid. I'd have also mentioned things like in your regular communication tools, things like WhatsApp. People might WhatsApp you orders and you can respond to them with a direct payment link that includes the items they have ordered already identified and broken out in a form of a payment request. That's possible. You can also send them a generic payment link or button where they'll be able to complete their transaction.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Monique. This has been a very, very informative session, but we unfortunately have completely run out of time. It was so interactive and informative that this is where we are. It's been a while since we've had this kind of interaction, and I'm so happy that you were able to bring it this morning. I know that you are not feeling so well, but I'm happy that you were able to feel a little better at the end. Just to remind persons though that the session is recorded, so you can always go back and replay and listen again to catch up on any information that you may have missed earlier. There's also a slew of questions that were shared And also, Monique, can I share your presentation with them as well? Is that something
Yes,
that we can?
absolutely.
All
Yes, I
right,
will.
great. So everyone, we will send you an email with this link, and we're also going to send you our feedback form because we want to hear from you what you thought about the session, what you think we should cover next, and that kind of thing. So with that, I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. Thank you too as well, Monique, for coming and sharing your information with us. And we will see you again soon for another Biz Zone session. Just watch our social media or email or wherever it is that you access information on for JBDC. Just watch those platforms and we will come back to you soon with another session. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.